And welcome back, everybody, yet again to the CENC NJCAA post show. I am Ravishing Rabbit, the most ravishing man on the internet, and I'm joined here by my side, as always, by Miss Kari Wave. How you doing, Kari?
I'm doing so well. I hope you're also doing well. I mean, we won't talk about what I've been through today to get here, but suffice to say, this was very important. I'm here, I'm alive, and I'm really excited to talk about the games that happened today.
Well, let's just do right that then. How nice of you to intro me into it. Thank you for doing so. Let's get right into the day when we talked about some Super Smash Brothers Ultimatum. To look warming off without the board, it was Ray versus Viper, right? It's back and forth match that was super fun to watch because both are from Madison College as well. So it's like ultimately it did end in a 4-3, but look at this, bro. The hero fighting up against the hero match, and this was so fun, Card.
Yeah, I love the yakety sacks, like just two pals having a good time mirror matches. There's something really charming in my opinion, especially like with the old Bayonetta meta that was so like terrifying and awful in this community, where we got to the point where it was just like messing around because you couldn't do anything else. I kind of like that vibe. I like that they're retaining it without ruining the game. Like they're just having a good time. We're here to have a fun. And that was kind of what this match was reminiscent of, is like, what else are we gonna do? We're two pals having fun.
Exactly, and the mirror matches did not stop there as they continued to do so. It's best of 7 from the hero matchup to the Dr. Mario to the left, which this is actually one of my beginning mains when I first got into Ultimate as well. Like, it was, like, people told me, like, hey man, he's like Mario, but he's a little bit better. No, he's not. You lied to me. He hands out pills and does tornadoes. He's so hard.
He's extremely difficult, especially with those like untargetable hits. So I don't know. I definitely am not good at nearly anything in terms of Smash. I love watching it and I think it's really interesting, but I literally like these mirror matches are so silly. It's so silly, and I love that they could have a good time and like pal around, because so often, especially with fighting games, things can get very serious. I mean, some people will throw crustaceans at you if you don't fall in line. So
you sound like you've had a personal experience with that. Now we won't get into that yet, but I'm sure we can find out about more, all that and more in your memoir being released next month, I believe. Kari, Your Journey, Fine Engineers, Amazon Bookstore. But
every day.
But moving on to the next match, like you were saying, right? It's just actually this continue back and forth, and not even with the min matches that we saw here too already right now. Like you mentioned, right, it was extremely fun to see these two absolutely go at it. Now moving on to the next one though, it was Viper going up against Fade. Right now, this one wasn't nearly as close, unfortunately, but it was still a fun time. Not as many mirror matchups though. But like I was saying, this right here, the Sephiroth, or as you like to say, Kari, how would you pronounce Sephiroth?
Sephiroth. I'm just kidding. Oh god, that was terrifying. This matchup is really interesting to me, just because it's like very exciting trap play coming out of the Snake there, and so I mean, you would think a lot of people would think that the favor would be in Fruit Smasher's camp, but unfortunately, Derek on the Snake came out victorious. What are you gonna do?
Exactly. The Snake players are the bane of my existence, especially good ones. Now, of course, Sephiroth is, if we're being honest, he's like disgusting and dumb, he's strong. But he is essentially does become a glass cannon if you put too much percentage on him. He can essentially just be like KO'd out by around, I think, almost about 72. But we see as he goes across the board, right? He did manage to change it up a little bit to Fruit Master being out as DSS, but the Snake was just so good, bro.
Snake?
The grenade setup, the bombs, the rockets. This is infuriating.
Yeah, it's got to be a frustrating match, especially because you know what the setups look like. You know exactly what you're not supposed to do, and then you do it anyway, and that's just got to be like really frustrating to watch yourself in slow motion fall for the same tricks over and over again, just in different places. So I think it's really interesting that it's more psychological warfare than anything, and this was a really interesting match.
It did eventually end up resulting in a 4-2 by the end of it, as you just see coming out. Fruit Master, which did not come out on top though, but man, the Snake play, I will although you did better, man, but yo, come on. But moving on to the next match between these two, in honor of Pokemon Snap, we got the Pokemon match between Pikachu and Pokemon Trainer.
Yeah, so Pikachu's actually my main, if you could even call it that. So it's definitely a matter of dodging and trying to get the air above your enemy and making sure that you have some really good, death from above dives that they can't answer to. Unfortunately, that was not the case in this situation. Not some great dodges. Unfortunately, in terms of like actual weight goes, Pikachu can be really hard to play if you are not completely making every single call to the person you're playing against. You have to be in charge. You have to be the one making all the calls, or else you just end up getting bullied off the map.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, like you mentioned, just the death from above setups that came off the side of Pikachu, resulting in a 4-1 by the end of it. And although there were some close back and forth matches, and no real 3 stocks coming out, but look at this one, right? Already we see he's a stock up, but he cannot be able to get enough percentages to be able to bring it back. So although this was a nice play by the end of it, the dunk that comes out, right? But for the Charizard, nonetheless, to finish it off. But the Pikachu player, Cardi, is fast, is zooming, it's electrified, and those cherry glowing trees just want to pinch, just so much.
Cute little.
They're absolutely what's filled with fury.
Yeah. The thing about the Pikachu specifically is if you get caught out, you're already dead. That's the other thing too, is that every single movement that you make has to be very precise, because the moment you get caught out, you're so light, you're feather light, you're just gonna get thrown off the arena. So on to the next one, we've got Julu versus Cyberstraw on Inkling and Zero Suit Samus. So this is definitely a more dynamic match than the Pokemon Trainer versus Pikachu one, less straightforward. Let's hear your take on it, Ravi.
So with the ZSS, right, you're looking for a lot of those kick flip setups coming out of her, right? To make sure you can set up both your grabs and also your forward B along with the electricity. So just be able to build up all of that percentage, which can also result in your execute as well. So being able to work around that is the Inkling's job. Now Inkling, like the Pikachu, very slippery, very fast, can go in and out of the floors, and being able to get enough paint down on the ZSS can also allow Inkling to finish them off very, very quickly, right? And just like that, you nailed it down to the floor, and just straight forward smash to take ZSS off into wherever the planet that Metroid is from, that I can't remember the name of right now.
Yeah. So in terms of Inkling's like kit, is it more utility based, and that's why they've got more of the like lighter advantage, or is it like out of the two out of the two characters here, who has the better utility set in your opinion?
So, in my opinion, as a person who used to love and main ZSS as well a very long time ago, I absolutely love playing as her. She's a lot more fun. But in terms of versatility, I like Inkling a lot more, right? Because you have a lot more setups in terms of your bomb. The whole point of Inkling is to be able to get as much paint on your opponent as you can, so you can knock them out of the park. The more paint you get on them, the more damage you do. And just like that, though, Mozart. Wait, hold on. He's a musician. Picasso will be proud of what Inkling is doing. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, Monet, if you will.
Jackson Pollock. That's the better one.
Jackson Pollock. That's the one that we're going after. That's perfect.
Because a splatters of paint on sight a person, and you call it art.
I love that. I love that comparison. I definitely am not very familiar with Inkling, so it's really interesting to hear that the more paint you get on your opponent, the more damage you do. That's crazy. That's actually such a fun mechanic too, because it's like, hey, don't get splashed or you're gonna get your ass is grass.
Oh yeah, unfortunately so. But the best thing is because she has a gun, the little bombs and everything, right? It can create some really fun entertainment. But by the end of it, right, we did see one coming out on top. So with that, you'll see right now as the bracket will be in front of us, so you all see what we see. Like I was saying, Madison Ray coming out with Mott. So Derek, that being Messery and Julu winning by the end of it, and we know we would see the question mark. It is Julu with a question mark because of
Julu
as well. Julu?
And also, just to clarify, Ray is for Madison College, not for Madison Community College. So Ray will be representing Madison College after going head to head against their colleague Viper. So I think that'll be actually, I think in terms of for Madison College, between Viper and Ray, it didn't really matter to either of them who went on, as long as the best player went on to represent Madison. And I feel like the two of them just had a good time because they had faith that no matter who won, they were going to represent Madison College in a very good way. So that was a lot of fun. I very much enjoyed that match.
I did as well. But speaking of different matches that we had today, we did also see Valorant pop off, which we'll see if you're the screen in just a couple of seconds. Starting off with the first match of the night, which was John Wood going up against Blend. Now, this, although was a close match in a sense, but on split nonetheless, Kari. John Wood got the 2-0, but like you saw, it was such a back and forth, especially the beginning half.
Yeah, it turns out that, it was close, but in the second half, I mean, John Wood eventually came out victorious. It's as much as it's fun to be able to like think that they weren't going to close it out, I kind of think that they gave a stronger showing throughout the entire map, so what can you do?
And you see too, just the retakes that come out from the side of John Wood as well on the attack, like one after another. But look at this Reyna defense, gets the triple by the end. Almost, actually, I mean, that's almost ace too, but they can't find the last person because he only has a sheriff and find the rest of. But like, just these holes that come out from them are absolutely so clean. The set line set up on the ace on the B side have done super well. You can see why they clearly favored it, although it's quite back and forth, like you mentioned before, right? John Wood closing it up at the end, the 13-9, and we were talking about this yesterday. I wanted to see Astra, and thank God I'm seeing her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as far as like actual meta goes, we've seen some very interesting off-meta picks from college players in Overwatch. And instead we've been getting these like incredible like plays in Valorant that are actually on meta, and you were like, if you don't pick Astra, I don't know what you're doing. So, oh man, the Valorant plays during this actual match were incredible, but it still feels like John Wood was the most dominant in this.
1,000%, right? Now, moving back and forth, look at the retake as well. Look at the back, the flash that comes in. And now it's just so good, man. Even through the blind at the back, they're still able to hold it down, and they delayed long enough that, although they might have been able to get the defuse though, but the Sage gets the. See, it's those infuriating plays where you think, man, I probably could close this out, but all I gotta do for my team is literally stay alive, and that's what matters by the end of it. Between these two, because look, and now even there, they eventually do have to give it up. Now, John Wood making the way over, like you mentioned a couple of times, moving on into the bracket as well. Really good showing so far, but I gotta say, man, both these teams have a lot to be proud of.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, no matter what the showing looks like, even though John Wood was more dominant, Blinn never did, just roll over and give it up. So, I mean, more than anything, this is about college players being seen, being celebrated, and being able to play on stage. So more than anything, we got what we came to accomplish here.
Most definitely. Moving on to the second match that we had was Northern Virginia going up against Lackawanna. Now, whereas the first match was quite close to this one, if we're being very honest, look, let's not try to put sand in our sandwich. This was not that close. People say that. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, it's rough just to try to like. I mean, our audiences are smart. They watch these games, they play them. So I mean, there's really no point in saying that another team was dominant when they weren't, or that the other team didn't necessarily stomp. And Northern Virginia did stomp in Lackawanna on this, and so I think that it just goes to reason that when you play games on stage like this, all you're doing is learning and improving. That's the most important thing that we want out of these games. And I think that Lackawanna came away with a lot to learn and improve on. And that's honestly, I think they'll come back much stronger for it.
The defensive hold that came out from the Virginia on split nonetheless.
It's disgusting.
So good. My God. Half the time they didn't even allow Lackawanna to get in onto that. Look at this heaven hold. Whereas the safe nonetheless, you put on the wall mid, and as they all break through, oh come on. Don't do it, man. I know
Don't do him dirty like that.
Exactly. he had a family and friends that cared about him, and how you gonna do that to him, bro?
Stop! He's already dead.
Yeah, Yamate Kurasai, bro. It's not okay. You can't be doing that to people.
You goodness, you just took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, like we were saying before, right? They managed to rack up the points one after another, and even while we switched over onto the other end, all they needed was the pistol to be able to bring it home. Now, looking over, from Split, although it was dominant, moving on to the second map, which is Haven for these guys, right? Which is, I always do genuinely view Haven as the great equalizer for many different teams if you can match the rotations, but so much of what was being done on the side of so much of what was being done actually for the side of
Look at these duels are so funny. It's just like
I can't even I can't even bear to say their name because like every single time I actually want to say them, but like cool kill, one,
no.
bro. Can you guys let me get my point? Northern Virginia, please. Let me talk, bro.
Yeah, it's a smash. This is definitely, it's rough to watch, but like I said, you live and learn, and these schools are taking away so much value from these.
Most definitely do. And consistently, how every single time, whether on the defense yet again, right? You saw how they're holding the exact same position so often. The Killjoy stayed in logs. Like the Killjoys, because he was able to stay in logs for so long, they never clean these set lines. Like Lackawanna needs to be a lot more wary of where their opponents are. And they're literally just getting mowed down in spawn, Kari. They can't even, like you said, forget getting on site, get a kill in the ace.
That's so damning. It's so degrading. Oh no, this is so hard to watch.
He gets a C4 kill at the end though. Oh my god.
You hate to see it, my dude, but you know what? Sometimes I love to see it. No, sometimes it's really fun to just watch a stomp, and it's not really at the expense of the other team. It's more just for our entertainment, to be honest. Like I don't think that Lackawanna should feel bad about this performance. I think that they should be glad that they just provided some flawless entertainment for us. Genuinely, what else can you do at that point?
Like you were mentioning too, is look at this right here. Look at this play. The move bot goes out. Where it comes around the back, it goes past one dead body. It's going a little bit back and forth. It's able to get so much chip damage onto two people. This is disgusting.
You can just hear Yakety Sax in the background when the boombot starts rolling up. You're just like, like it's so damning.
Yeah,
it's so much fun to watch, though.
I love it. Music, yeah. It's just so good, man.
It is.
You can't keep doing this to people over and over again. And ending in a 12-1 almost by the end of it is so gross. We got one round, there's just one person left. But look at this though. The 1v1 clutch is a good flash. All my man needs to do is land a couple of shots. 35 health. A nice flick will be able to do it. He has the advantage, but no. By the end,
that's the way the cookie crumbles. That was rough. Yeah, that's the way the Lenny and Larry's cookie crumbles. Speaking of Lenny and Larry's, let's go over our sponsors here. We've got Barbasol, which you know I'm a huge fan of. We've got the Lenovo Legion. I'm not using Lenovo, but they don't know that. Death Wish, Athletes Unheard, Reveal Suits, K-Yow, Carolina Alehouse, HyperX, I Buy Power, E-Team sponsor, Larry and Lenny's, again, the aforementioned cookie that we had talked about here that does indeed crumble on the side of Lackawanna. And then the organizers there, the Collegiate Sports Management Group and NJCAAE. So, you get what you get.
Thank you for all of our sponsors for making all of this happen and more. We do appreciate all of your time, and it's absolutely phenomenal. As we'll see the final bracket here coming out for the side of Valorant as well to see what we got in front of us, right? Like we mentioned to you, John Wood and Blink going out forward. John Wood and Northern Virginia going out forward, and they will be facing off to see who will be the champions, right? Now, considering these two powerhouses when they face off. Kari, I want to be there. You should all be there. It'll be exciting, heart palpitating, and arrhythmia inducing. Go down.
Arrhythmia inducing. You will have a heart attack, and we will be there to help you when you fall out.
As for our sponsors that we just mentioned before, y'all make sure you get some Lenny's cookies to make sure that you stay up to date, get that blood flowing, of course, right? So I mean, you can feel the sound in your HyperX headphones reverberating through your ears. As we have also, because like we said, all of that's everything for today. We do have more games coming at y'all tomorrow, though. Y'all want to make sure to be tuned in for that. We got a couple new games you may not have seen, like we've gone through Rocket League, we've got through Smash, we've got through Overwatch, we've got through Valorant. Tomorrow we got the FIFA 20, we got the FIFA 21 finals, the NBA 2K finals as well, the Rainbow Six Siege, along with the Rocket League semis and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate semifinals, and the Cold War Invitational, casted by my man's Proper and Vision. So fantastic stuff across the board here, Cardi.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. There's a packed schedule. Pop in when you can, stop by, show some support for these college players who have really put forth the effort just to be here on stage and get that experience, hopefully for some of them to go pro in the future. So show support for your local college team, your unlocal college team, whatever have you here. And we're so glad to have everybody's support on this journey.
Yes, man. Like you mentioned, a lot of games today, a lot of games tomorrow, and more even over after that too. So it's going to be a lot of almost a full traditional sports day, but played with our hands, which will be a lot more fun. A day you will not want to miss. We do want to thank the production team, of course, and in the back for making us always look good. Kate, Colton, and Cool Scoots, and everybody else along with the squad. Make sure things run smooth and clean. The players, the casters today as well, and of course all of our sponsors. Now, with all that being said, I have it ravishing here by Miss Cardi by my side. We thank you all for watching. We'll catch you tomorrow evening as well. Same games, same times. Well, different games, but same time. So see you then. Peace.
See ya.